This is WFO Radio.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. WFO Radio NHRA Nitro going out on social, YouTube, Twitter, all over the place. And, of course, WFOradio.com. And I'm super excited. We got Matt Hagan, our funny car winner from this past weekend's action out there in Brainerd, Minnesota, going to be joining us just seconds from now. So if you're a fan of Hagan, you're going to want to share the show, right? Share the show, retweet, tell your friends. He's going to have a lot of great stuff to say. It was not an easy weekend at all. Not an easy weekend. Hagan going out there, getting the job done. I got some of my own photos from this one as the Mopar guys went out there and put it on him. And what was a great race, though, and a great final round. Before we do that, though, I want to tell everybody about a couple of things that we got going on. I'm going to put it in the comments section right now. One of our great listeners, Mike, a.k.a. Race Guitar, has been doing something just amazing. He's like riding his bicycle to raise money for children's cancer. I'm going to throw he's like a couple $100 away from a $2,000 goal. And you know how I love when WFO puts people like over a threshold when they're trying to do something, a vote or whatever. So I'm going to throw this up in the chat section there, and hopefully you guys can get in on it. And he's about to surpass his goal of $2,000 to raise for children's cancer, including our great friend Tommy Noodle's son Jacob. His name is on the bike and everything like that. So if you are into that, please, that will be a great, great thing. Also, I want to tell you about the people who make it possible for WFO to exist. It's been pretty amazing. Just yesterday, we brought on two new Patreons. Scott and Troy jumped on to support the VIP Listener Club that goes on behind the scenes with all kinds of unique content, like a fair amount of unique content. You get to watch the Ignition Show as well when it happens. Patreon.com/WFO Radio. Check that out and welcome to new listeners. Scott and Troy, thank you very much for stepping up and supporting WFO. Also, Total Seal Piston Rings. This is something that I want to let everybody know, all you sportsmen, racers, engine builders, if you're going to be at the Big Go next Friday, not this Friday, next Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern time, or 1 p.m., doesn't matter Eastern time, although it is, in the Total Seal pit area, the Matt Hartford Racing Pro Stock trailer. Check this. There is a piston rings and cylinder honing seminar. What's changed and why? Straight talk from the experts. Who are the experts? We're talking about Keith Jones, the director of technical sales. We're talking about Lake Speed Jr., the tribologist for Total Seal, and one of the most knowledgeable people on earth about oil and lubrication, et cetera. Plus Ed Keebler from Rottler. They're going to gather. I'll be there too. So will Hartford in the Total Seal pit area. So if you're thinking about what day should I go out to the Big Go, if you're an engine builder, if you're a machinist, if you're a sportsman racer, and you want to get the most latest, greatest information about ring seal and how to achieve it through honing and machining, get out there to this live event, 1 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be dropping a new episode of Hidden Horsepower this Friday. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, the Dragster Adventure. You can drive a dragster. You can feel like a racer and maybe get bitten by the bug that everybody else has. And samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. Start your education at full speed. Samtech.edu. And Marvin Rodak, my buddy, roasting up coffee, barbecue, hot sauce, fresh per your order, 817-924-6821. And I was supposed to talk with him the last time that this man was on. He won Funny Car out there in Denver, and then he won Funny Car out there again in Brainerd, and he has taken over the points lead. He is the Hulk, Matt Hagan. What's up, Matt? How are you?
Hey, Joe. How's it going, man? Glad to be on the show again.
You're back. It's so crazy that whoever wins the race takes over the points lead, and we got like 5 drivers within 2 rounds of racing. It's awesome.
Man, it's a dogfight. I mean, that just shows you how competitive these cars are, how competitive these crew chiefs are as far as getting them dialed in. I mean, I've lost probably 5 races this year by thousandths of a second. You know, I mean, maybe they all equal up to maybe 100th of a second, you know, if you total them all up from what we lost. So, I mean, we really just been on the backside of some really good drag races this year, and it's so competitive. I mean, when we won the championship last year, you know, we were kind of on the front side of those things, you know what I mean? Like, we were winning a lot of the close races and stuff like that. And this year, I mean, honestly, I think there's about 5 races that we lost within thousandths of a second. And, you know, that's the difference between running away with the points and just, you know, kind of everybody being in here real tight and stuff. And, you know, but it's just everybody's got their stuff dialed in, and you just have to have such a good package out there. And you have to have a great light, you know what I mean? That's what it's going to come down to, I think, now that these crew chiefs have these cars. dialed in so much, it's going to come down to the starting line. It seems to be more and more that way every year. So it's just being on your game and having a good package and a good car underneath you and really racing the racetrack. I think that's what a lot of guys, forget is that, they do have the power and they do have the capability to go out there and run, low ET for the round, but you have to be a racer, you know what I mean? And that's what I think Dickie Venables is. He's a great racer on Sunday, and I think that's why we've been so successful is he races the racetrack and not so much the guy beside of us. And lane choice is always important, I think the more we can pick up lane choice, as good as the safety safari is and as hard as they work, some of these tracks turn into one-lane racetracks, and you have to have choice, So it's a tough game out there right now.
Now, you mentioned lane choice. We'll talk about that because it was a big deal in the semifinals. I actually captured a photograph of that. But let's just, talk about, through qualifying. You guys finished up fourth, but it was really good the way the cars were going down the racetrack, setting up a run against Dale Creasy. They were bringing it. 403 got down the racetrack. They got a 6-disc clutch in that car now, and I got to say, for the second run out with the 6-disc clutch, they were going pretty good. I don't want to say they gave you a scare, but they gave you a competitive run first round.
100%. And the way the ladder fell, I guess, sometimes everything happens for a reason. The last qualifier, Q3, we went 393. I think 393 with a parachute out of 300 feet. And so it was on the, looked like on the graphic anyway, it was going to run an 86 and 87, somewhere around in there. Would have been low, but didn't, obviously, just had a cable that was too short on our body, and it dumped the shootout. But to run,
what was that like? Did you know what happened?
No, I'd never really felt that the car was running so good. It still ran 275 in the middle, so it's not like it was like threw a boat anchor out, but it was just going to run so much better. You know what I mean? It's kind of, it kind of happened right there, right before the clutch locked up, and you as a driver, you're kind of like going, is that the clutch coming at it, or what's going on? So, but didn't hurt the motor, didn't do anything. It just obviously slowed us down a bunch. But the ladder fell how it fell. We ended up fourth, and I'm glad. I guess everything happens for a reason, right? And it ended up working out for us. But Creasy got a lot of respect for him, man. I was one of the first cars I ever drove was with him, and I actually nuked the clutch out of a car. His car. I got in there to license, and he doesn't have a stop on his car on his clutch, right? So you can go over center. So if you go over center and you're holding brake, then the clutch is still working and it's getting hot, And so the first time I was ever in a fuel car like that, I was pushing the clutch as hard as I could because I didn't want to run nobody over. I was scared to death and all this other stuff, holding a bunch of brake. Well, they went out there 300 feet and nuked the clutch out of it, and they gave me they sent me a bill for $5,000 and sent me home with a Ziploc bag full of clutch parts. So it was a good lesson learned right off the bat. But so now it's like it was like, man, got to have a stop in there, so go flush to the clutch pedal. But just Creasy's a great guy, man, good racer. He was taking his time coming in and stuff like that. But guys got to do stuff like that to try to get the win light, do what they got to do. You know what I mean? But Creasy, he's a good guy, man, and I'm glad. I was there racing with him when he hurt his legs and stuff when that reverser beat him up real bad, and he almost couldn't walk and different things like that. I watched him helicopter him out, and we were teammates and running each other in IHRA and stuff, and just glad to see him still back out here doing what he loves to do.
Exactly. No, exactly. He's doing what he loves to do. And you mentioned running a gamut of the emotions, right? From getting your license to being scared to, all of a sudden you're buying parts, you get a bag of waste, all of that stuff. It sets up that second round matchup against Paul Lee. Paul Lee got around Bob Bodie. Paul Lee has got aspirations to make the top 10 in points, and their program is moving in the right direction. The more you race, the better you get. He outran you. But you left on him, and you do the math, and it comes up to a very small margin. Great race, just one of many very close, great races we had over the course of the day.
Yeah, really great race. Paul, they got a car that that's can throw down at any time, and they've been getting better. Like last year, they were running really aggressive, really good, and then the beginning of the year they kind of fell off a little bit, but now here they come again. And Paul's a good leaver. Me and him were in qualifying, and I was cutting 60s and he was cutting 70s. And we were going back and forth. And he's like, I see you. And I was like, I see you too, man. I mean, a lot of people don't take qualifying seriously up on the starting line, and they just kind of like try to get down the racetrack and don't think about their lights. But I always go after my light every run I get. It's just another chance to try to hit the tree. It's just the adrenaline's not quite there as much as it is on race day. So, you feel like you can be up a little bit more for race day. But yeah, Paul, I mean, great car. They put a hell of a lap down right beside us. I never saw him, but I could hear him beside me. And so I was like, man, it's going to be a close race, and our win light came on. But, it's just one of those things where, like I said, we were on the right side of a good drag race right there.
Absolutely. Setting up a semifinal matchup. And I wonder, were you keeping track of all the other action that was going on? Like I said, flat out, we don't like short fields in certain categories, whatever it may be. But the funny car racing for me, you got Robert Height and J.R. Todd first round. You got Caps and Force first round, setting up great matchups in the second round. Like all around the ladder, everywhere, there were these great skirmishes. But you get down to the semifinals, it's you and Tasca, the number one qualifier, and Cruz and J.R. Todd, who both had been solid and strong and quick and fast. And maybe Cruiser had the best car of the weekend. I don't know. So the final four are very deserving. But were you aware of the other racing that was going on and how great it was?
Oh, for sure. I mean, we watch it as soon as we make a run. We get back in the computer zone in the lounge and got the radio going. So one, we like to see who we got to run next, and then what they ran. Obviously if we have lane choice or not. But absolutely keeping up with it all. It's very exciting.
Exactly. No, it was good stuff. So you and Tasca, whenever you guys get together, I can't help but think about old rivalries, right? Oh, we lost him. He dropped out just like that. I was just about to nail him with some stuff about Tasca. No, he'll be back. Matt Hagan. What's up to everybody out there? Let's see. Travis Shoemake. Maddie and Joe, look forward to spending some time. I'm going to save that one, Travis. Yeah, you coming out to Indy? Who's coming to Indy, baby? Who's coming to Indy? As we get Matt to reconnect. Good luck in Indy. Matt, go DSR. And Mark says, what's harder to do? Wrangling cattle or surviving the zoo? These are all great questions. We got to get Matt. We got to get the Hulk back. We got to get him back so I can talk a little bit about a couple of the things that went down out there. And while we get Matt back, let me make sure he's not trying to text in like, hey, man, what's up with that? You can ask me about Tasca. Right? Let's see. Michael Heiner is out there. It's crazy that they're running as close as they are with the floppers. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. And maybe he got a phone call or whatever. Did want to take this chance to show this photograph. This is the semifinal. Dickie Venables had just won and departed on his scooter, and then came zipping right back as he wanted to see lane choice. He wanted to watch the run. And crew chiefs don't always do this. He wanted to watch the run between Cruiser and JR, and they ended up getting the lane choice. And so that made all the difference in the world, apparently. Hubby and I will be in Indy. Can't wait. Well, you should all be in Indy. I'll be in Indy too. All right, let me try to get Matt on the horn here. Let's see, Matt. Can you reconnect? Let's see what that says. You've seen a little inside baseball here, folks. With the internet, anything's possible. We were going good for a while. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I do want to tell you, we've got Brittany Force scheduled for our Super Show, pre-Indy Super Show, Monday. And Matt Smith also. Speaking of Matt. All right, here he is. He's back. Guess who's back?
Sorry.
Back again.
So my phone, it basically, was sitting up in my truck window here, and a temperature thing went off, and it said it's too hot to use your phone. So I'm over here putting it on the air conditioning, trying to cool it down so I can get back on the show.
All right, good. Well, hey, a couple of questions coming at you. Let's answer them real quick. In that Travis Shoemake says he's looking forward to coming to Indy. Mark wants to know, what's harder to do, wrangling cattle or surviving the zoo?
I don't know. The zoo, you kind of know what to expect. It's going to be a hangover the next day, but wrangling cattle, you never know what you're going to get. It's I've had to jump over fences and had them run me in the ground and kick me and everything else. So I take my chances in the zoo over cattle.
Yes. And a little trip into the zoo, a good time was had by all. All right, the battle versus Tasca and then the battle versus Cruz. Walk us through before your phone melts.
Yeah, no, my phone's good. I got it in the shade now. But it's just one of those things with Tasca. He's kind of had our number a little bit earlier this year, and so we're always up for him. And he's got one of our chassis, to be honest, and it's one of those things where that car is working well. They're doing good. and it's just one of those things where, he's a good leaver and he gets up for me and there's going to be a good drag race. But, we kind of, we hit the gas first and never looked back, man. We treat him and outran him. And it was just one of those things where it's good, to load him up because he's been running good. He's up there in points, and it was a round that we needed to win to kind of, gain some momentum on him.
Absolutely. And then the final round, a resurgent Cruz Pedregon already has a race win. He's been very vocal. Someone asked me if you had heard what comments Cruz has made or Cruz made on the broadcast. And I got to tell you, I don't even know what those were because I have yet to go back and study the broadcast just yet. But let me just put it this way. Like, I feel that people are feeling it, right? They're feeling the energy. They're kind of not afraid to say some stuff right now. Like, I think either number one, performing well, number two, just the love of the game. Like there's a little pushing and shoving going out there. You got into a little deal with Force a while back. Like, I think that's entertainment. Tell me about that and getting ready for the final.
Yeah. The whole Force thing, it was one of those deals where, I don't know, you always are, with John Force, people are going to crucify you and the keyboard warriors will come out, and you ever say anything bad about John Forrest, it's like the end of the world or whatever. But for me, I just call it how I see it, and it is what it is. And, the reason that I got out of the car and basically it was like, hey, dude, cut the shit. You know what I mean? It's like, you're a better driver than that. You don't need to be up there doing stuff like that. And, he didn't like what I had to say. So he come over to my tow vehicle and started poking me in the chest and telling me how he was John Force and he can do anything that he wants, and basically threw his stuff down and stomped off. And I was like, damn, man, you're acting like a 72-year-old child, but and then the keyboard warriors, they come out and they're like, oh my God, you're the one, complaining that you got lost, you got beat. And it wasn't even about getting beat. It was about, because I had a 600th advantage on the start line. It's just about him being disrespectful and not really up there doing whatever, playing games and messing around or whatever, instead of just putting his race car in there and racing the race, and the reason we talk about double bulbs is because we don't ever do it to each other. Like, it's not something that happens all the time, or we wouldn't be sitting there talking about it. And so, if it's something we did all the time, it would be no big deal. But, I've never double bulbed anybody. And that's the first time in 15 years that someone's double bulbed me. So it was something I was like, hey, dude, like, what the hell are you doing up there? And, so he didn't like my response, and that's fine, whatever. He can do whatever he wants to do. But it was just a show of disrespect to me, because that's something that, if it was an accident or something, you go over and say, hey, bro, like, my bad. I won't happen again. Sorry, just dove it in too hard or whatever. But, that's not John. He come over and he's like, I'm John Force and I can do whatever I want. And I was like, wow, okay, that sounds about right, So anyway, people will be like, oh, you crybaby, this and that. But all that doesn't really matter. I mean, to me, it was just, I was going to call him out on whether I won or whether it was a rookie or John Force or whatever. It was just one of those things where it's disrespectful to do that if you're doing it on intention, and we don't do it to each other. So that was all it come down to, is I was like, cut the shit out, man. So that's kind of where we left it. It is what it is. And, people are like, what are you going to do? Are you going to, like, burn him down? Are you going to play games? I'm like, why would I play games? He's the one up there trying to cut a light. He can't leave on the starting line. And that's why he's doing what he's got to do up there, to try to mess with you or whatever, to try to cut a light, So I don't plan on changing anything I'm doing. I mean, my lights are really great. We got a great package, and I'm just going to keep racing my car and putting it in there and doing how I do, and just keep turning on win lights,
And Cruz, I appreciate you saying that, because this sport is built and was built on rivalries, and not everybody likes the way everybody's doing it. I talked to John. He says he's hyping himself up. You've heard his perspective. I don't need to tell you, but the next time you guys come to the starting line, everyone's going to want to watch.
It'll be interesting, but it'll be up to Force whether he wants to play games and do whatever. I'm doing me, man. Like, we're turning win lights on and we're winning races, and my lights are great, and there's no reason for me to change anything. So if something happens up there, because he's screwing around up there, but I'm gonna race my race car and put my mouthpiece in and hang on tight. But it's one of those things where it will be interesting. You never know, and I'm excited about it. I want to race the dude. I want to tattoo him on the tree, and I'm gonna just kind of like, see you later, brother. You know what I mean, kind of thing. So, it is a great rivalry, and there's Force has a pile of fans out there, and everybody loves him. And I'm not taking anything away from John Force. He's been great for the sport, and he's a living legend. But if you're going to be the best, you you better be doing it better and cleaner than everybody else kind of thing. And so it's just one of those deals for me. It's like it's not a I hate John Force or anything else. I just called him out on him screwing around up there on the start line, and people don't like someone saying something negative about John Force. I don't really care. I'm not here to be John's friend. You know what I mean? We're here to win races, and I've got nothing but respect for that guy. And it just made me lose a little bit of respect for him. That's all. Not that he needs my respect, but as a driver, as a competitor, I lost a little bit there for him screwing around up there.
Nope, gotcha. Final round, Cruz Pedregon, fast car. I just showed this photograph of Dickey watching their semifinal race. He was very interested in lane choice. I didn't hear a lot. You've mentioned lane choice a couple times. Dickey was very into lane choice. It obviously made a difference psychologically one way or another. Talk about getting ready for the final round against Cruz. Another one of the old school drivers coming from match race days, doing starting line, rolling in deep, different stuff like that. And what was an unbelievable, close, and awesome final round.
Well, I don't know how close. It didn't look that close on the aerial view. I mean, that's Cruz is a prime example why you don't screw around up there on the start line. He got basically caught with his pants down trying to roll it in deeper, and the tree fell on him. And when you go back and look at the broadcast, it's like he was trying to get some more in and roll it in deeper, and the tree fell. And that's why I don't screw around up there. And Cruz can do what he wants to, but I mean, we had such a close drag race, it probably cost him the race, and it's just one of those things where that's a prime example of getting caught with your pants down up there, screwing around on the start line, trying to get better, rolling it in deeper to try to get a better looking reaction time when actually you're not doing anything other than shorten the racetrack up a couple inches. But, it's a final round. We all kind of go in there deep, but, I think he was trying to get him another bite, and a tree fell on him, and it was kind of like, you didn't even hear it on the broadcast. It was like, boop, boop, and then we left. So, they got a great car. JC does a great job over there. I mean, that's Tommy Johnson's crew basically from last year. And, Cruz is, he's a good driver, man. He's, two-time world champ. Can't take nothing away from him. But like I said, that's a prime example of what getting caught screwing around up there on the start line will do.
I am loving the confidence, Matt Hagan. And we can't forget, you're the defending world champion. You've won a couple of races. You're now the points leader. Like I love that confidence. I don't know if those guys would agree. You had a 51, he had a 106, and so the numbers don't lie. But I'm loving the confidence. I wish this continues, and I guess now is the right time for it with the U.S. Nationals and the countdown coming at it again. I talked to your guys. I talked to Mike and Stretch and Alex, and I talked to those guys, and they are confident too. They like where they're at. Tell me about the atmosphere and the team going into the most important part of the season.
Yeah, we finally got our power back. The last couple of races, we've gotten our power, but then you have to get the fuel curve to come to it, and keep the cylinders lit and all that kind of stuff. And Dickey's been working really hard the last couple of races of now we have our power where we really need it to be and want it to be, and then getting that tune up to get there. So now after this last weekend and probably the weekend before last, everything's really kind of sinking in, clicking in. It's keeping 8 cylinders lit. It's running hard. The car's getting up on the tire. We're finally getting some fast shaft early. Things are looking really good and dialed in on different racetracks, a couple of different racetracks we've been to now with this new power curve and what Dickey's doing up there. So the confidence is growing in the crew chief, as far as what he's doing, the changes he's making, the way the car is running. And I think that's why we're on the other side of the good drag races now instead of the backside of it. And, his confidence is there. And then, just with my starting line and the leaving the tree and, all that it comes into a package, you know what I mean? Like when the car goes good, my lights get better. He feels more confident that he doesn't have to run as hard because I can leave a couple hundreds on some people. And, it's just, it all kind of flows and clicks and works. And that's really where we're at, and it's coming together. I feel like at the right time, this countdown, after Indy, out of 6 races, you need to win 2 or 3 of them. And that's just, and go to the semis a bunch, to win a championship. Been there. I think I've won it from 6 or 7 before and, all the way from second or first, so it's just, and it's humbling. I mean, you can work hard all year long and run away with everything and reset the points and, you end up falling to the backside of it. It's just all getting hot at the right time. And I really feel like, I wouldn't say we're peaking, but I feel like we're on the right track, to come into the countdown to where we really can start clicking off some win lights and win some more races and do what we need to. I mean, we kind of kind of bank on 3 or 4 races, 4 or 5 races every year, and we won 2, so we got some catching up to do.
No, I love it. Hey, he says he's your guy, but Chris King out there, speaking of up and coming funny car racers, saying what's up and congratulations. Everybody saying, Keelan out there saying, preach it, bro. That's my own interpretation.
Chris is great, man. That's one of the dudes, man. I really like Chris. He's out there, man. He's a firefighter. He's dirt, gets dirty, salt of the earth people, man. Goes in there. He's like the SWAT team of firefighters, man, out there in Chicago. And it's one of those things. He's a good, genuine dude. You guys watch him. He's coming up through the ranks. He's going to be a big part of this. And anything I can do to help Chris, he's just good people, man. He brought some auction stuff around for some kids, I think, that got burned and some different things like that. So he's just out there living life and living his dream in a funny car right now, man. So it's really cool.
I agree. And the auctioning and the raffling and everything. And that's, you got to get in. You got to get your toe in the water. Can't wait. And maybe someday soon you'll be battling Chris on the starting line. Matt, thank you very much for making the time. This was awesome. Do you have anything special going on around the U.S. Nationals that our fans need to know about that you'll be doing, or someplace you'll be, or anything like that?
So I'm going to be in Monday and Tuesday. We have a conquest event for Dodge, SRT, Mopar. You go to the local dealer there, sign up. You get an opportunity to really test these cars out on the racetrack. So if you're in that Indy area, go to your local dealer right there, talk to them about this conquest event coming up. You can come out to the track on Monday and Tuesday, sign up there at your dealer, and get a real opportunity to play with some Hellcats and Demons and some different things like that. So we'll be out there early having some fun. I don't think that we're doing the open house or anything like that this year, but I'll be over there at the track early on in the week, and hopefully we get a lot of folks signed up out there to try these cars out and have fun and opportunity to buy them, So, it's one of those things where you get to have fun on the racetrack like that. It makes it a lot easier when you get to go back over to the dealer and put your name on that dotted line, but it'll be fun. Biggest thing I want to say is thank you to my fans, the folks that really do follow us and really do support us and really do go out there and buy the stuff that our sponsors are producing and making. It really does matter, because without our fans, without my fans, without fans in NHRA period, we can't do this. So I just want to say much love, so much thank you to everybody that's out there supporting what we do, following what we do, and we're gonna go out here and get it done. I mean, I feel good, confident this year, and we're going to just keep digging, keep working hard. Everybody doesn't understand all the hard work that goes in behind it, behind the scenes, all the practice trees, all the stuff, the mental preparation, all the stuff that it takes to kind of go up there and deal with pressure and win the championships. But we're putting in the work. You keep supporting us, and we're going to get it done.
That is awesome, Matt. Thank you. Hey, is that a lasso on your back seat? Like everybody wants to know. Is that like a real lasso? You for roping cattle?
Yeah, I can rope a little bit, but I would rather do it on a 4-wheeler than a horse, because it's got an on-off switch,
Yes.
So, yeah.
But hey,
for sure.
You walking the walk, talking the talk. I love it, Matt. We'll see you in a couple of days. Thank you for this. Hey, honest, straightforward, from your perspective. That's what people want to see. That's why they're going to watch racing, and it's real. It's real. It's genuine. That's what people want, and I love it. Thank you for sharing it here on the show.
All right, brother. Thanks for having me on.
Be good. Take care. See you in a few days. Matt Hagan. Thank you. There he goes. Matt Hagan with us here on WFO Radio. How about Matt goes out, gets another win, and straight shooting, right? You like him, you don't like him, you agree, you don't agree. You have your driver. That's it. That's what it's all about. That's why you got to show up and you got to watch the race. That's why you got to go buy a ticket to the U.S. Nationals, which is really, I'll be rolling in a week from today. There will be no WFO next Wednesday. So what we're doing is we're doing everything on Monday. And so we're going to have Brittany Force on Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern time and Matt Smith. And we're going to kind of do a WFO super show, the likes of which you've never seen before. Are we going to be on the air for 3 straight hours? Are we going to be on the air for 5 straight hours? Highly unlikely. But we're putting together an Indy super show. And then we'll have Reinhardt on Tuesday at a special time. And then that'll be it. Off to Indy for what is going to be, maybe the best ever U.S. Nationals, right? Hopefully everyone will be there and they'll be out there and they'll be watching. Hagan's comments about Force, that's the other side of it. We heard John, he's in the archive. He told us his perspective, what he does, why he does what he's doing. He even admits, I made some comments about what it's like when you're, you're getting up there. What is it? Bobby Bennett has a column, Old Age and Treachery. That's the discussion right now. And that's the other side of the discussion. Hagan he's going to do his thing. And I would imagine this one's going to get shared around a little bit. And is that going to be bulletin board material for some people out there? I don't know. All right, guys, put your comments in the comment section. You're not going to get me to go an extra hour today. That's not happening. But we did go an extra hour yesterday. And I thought about something of all the things that I said, something that I didn't say. Like we're talking about jobs and different careers and professions. And Matt Hagan mentions Chris King, who is out there. First of all, Chris, thank you very much for even bothering to watch our show. Thank you. Right? Like this guy's a funny car driver, and Michael Heiner is out there, and everybody's out there. And we've got this great VIP audience. And Chris King is one of those first responders we were talking about. But I'm watching the news, and I'm seeing like all these planes going into and out of Afghanistan. You don't have to have like the opinion about what's going on there. That's not what I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about the men and women who are making this unprecedented airlift possible. Like, I got to mention those. Like, we always love to focus on the United States military. When I say we, I mean drag racing fans and drag racers and the NHRA and certainly on WFO. Well, they are working their butts off, man. They are working their butts off. And they're doing it. Like the numbers are going up and up and up and up. And how is that happening? Because there are men and women, America's finest out there in uniform, and I'm sure all branches are involved one way or another. And so on the heels of a show where I talked about medical staff and truck drivers and people stocking shelves behind the scenes and teachers and just all of these people that we don't really give a thought about most of the time because the stuff is just a miracle. It appears in the grocery store and we go about our lives. And, you drop the kids off and somehow they come home mostly educated. After watching some of the reports, I just thought about like nonstop action going in there. Bringing in planes, sending out planes. Like, who's doing that, right? That is sons and daughters of Americans in their military, and they deserve a thought, especially when I'm highlighting everybody. So I made that mistake yesterday, but maybe it was like a good mistake, so I could feature it all by itself here today. And that's just a thought that I'm having. All right, I want to tell you guys about the people who make it possible for me to do WFO. And I mentioned Total Seal piston rings, but I want to double check. We've got this great YES program that we do at the NHRA with young students and educators, trade schools, et cetera, and so on. They are going to be invited to this Total Seal seminar, but also sportsmen racers. Look at me. I'm like putting up the flyer. I'm just like holding it up to the camera because I just printed it out this morning. Sportsmen racers, piston rings and cylinder honing seminar. What's changed and why? Straight talk from the experts. This is happening in Matt Hartford's Pro Stock Pit, 1 p.m. on Friday of the U.S. Nationals, right after the YES program. I'll be there. I'll be the host of the deal. Lake Speed, Keith Jones, Ed Keebler. I'm pretty confident Matt Hartford is going to be involved. And Keebler is from Rottler, which they build machines that are automotive specific. If you think about CNC machinings and whatnot, like Rottler's equipment is automotive engine specialty equipment. I learned so much about them on the Engine Performance Expo, and Ed Keebler is just a great knowledge. And so you want to know about techniques and modern ways to do things and things to ask for and how to unlock hidden horsepower. You definitely want to be at this 1 p.m. on Friday of the U.S. Nationals and be in the Hartford pit area and be ready for a little over an hour. We're going to do this. Also, we got a new episode of Hidden Horsepower getting ready to drop at the end of the week. Ken McNamara, who is heavy in V8 supercars in Australia, also 410 Sprints down there. And he has got so much information about that series, V8 supercars, and how they deal with their compliance, like their take on equalizing the rules. It's pretty amazing. You're going to love it. And that drops out on Friday. So check it out. Also want to shout out to the folks at samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. Speaking of machining, and you see how it all ties in, kind of found a little niche in the machining world. And the next generation of kids that are going to be these machinists and keep the cars on the track and keep making power, which isn't going anywhere. samtech.edu. Also, Marvin Rodak, rodakscoffeeandgrills.com. Last time we talked to Hagan, he's like, hey, talk to Marvin about how we can get some Hagan steaks in there. And honestly, I haven't seen Hagan in person in each of the last 3 races. just getting out there and getting over there. But in Indy, I'll have plenty of time. And so we'll work that thing out. 817-924-6821. Call Marvin Rodak. Get you some coffee. I'm trying the new coffee. I'm trying the Haitian today. And the blue, what is it? The zombie. My gosh, it's amazing. And I'm fired up today. So give Marvin a call, 817-924-6821, and he'll be out there at the AAA Texas Fall Nationals and Stampede of Speed down there at the Texas Motorplex. And then, of course, Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, the Dragster Adventure, which you need to drive a dragster. Speaking of Travis Shoemaker a little bit earlier in the show, Travis went to Frank Hawley's, as have so many others recently, as the next generation is rolling out. Way to go, Frank and Lana Hawley. And they were posting pictures with Troy Williams Jr., and I thought that was pretty cool that Frank Hawley is like shouting out to Troy, who is one of the greatest bracket racers ever. All right, let's see what everybody's got to say. Your comments in the comments section. And let's see. Jim Essex says yesterday was fun. Well, it got me up on the soapbox a little bit. And I always feel great regret after that because I like to keep it drag racing. But I think in that case, all these questions coming in about, why we don't have full fields and what can we do to make the sport better and thrive and success. And I think it's all related. I think everything is connected. It's like this great economic ecosystem. And look at this, by the way. I got an email from an industry insider with a long list of just ideas and concepts of how to improve the sport. Some of them are great. Some of them are worth trying, right? Now, I love the sport just how it is, but I also think you need to mix things up. And I think we were onto something yesterday with our all-run concept, honestly. I think that the all-run concept could be entertained. Not at all races, maybe at some races. Try it out. Figure it out. I know, all run. And eliminate one of maybe the biggest deterrents to participation, which is the spend a bunch of money and get sent home. Like, humbled. All run. And what you'd have to do is you'd have to figure out how to have the lowest qualifiers battle it out for the final spots in qualifying on Saturday. So you have like a little race within a race. Like, I'm just imagining things, right? Imagining things. Like, what if the 17th and 18th qualifier got to race for a $5,000 bonus if they were going to go home? It's something. Like, there's ways that we can incentivize more participation, but only once we get beyond what is big worldwide problem. All right, let's see. Chuck, who is a Patreon, who scored his WFO crew shirt out there in person, saying, "What's up?" Maddie, hey, Maddie, hopefully you'll be out there in Indy. Brian Brewster, good luck, Indy Matt. Go get another one. Yeah, I think I already saw these. It's all good, says Jim. Scott, Pickle Rick, Jason Scruggs, and Brandon Pez are entered for Indy. Awesome. Yes, I haven't really looked at the entry lists just yet. I'm looking forward to Monday's show. Thank you, Blake. Appreciate you. Hopefully things are great in Wyoming. Brittany Force going to be via Skype, and then we're going to have Matt Smith and whoever else I can score in on that show, which I'm expecting it to be like a Monday free-for-all happy hour kind of thing. Yeah, as we get ready for a week of Indy. It's going to be loose. Fan of Hagan or not, this stuff makes it fun and great for the fans. Here's to Matt Hagan. Okay, I have great respect for Matt Hagan. Years ago, when he won his first championship, there have been, I think, 3 or 4 times where he has been unvarnished, straightforward, doing and saying everything that everybody wanted everybody to say. And, the other racers like kind of went into their shell and there was no response. Like, he just flat out gave his perspective on what happened a couple of races ago with John Force. And he also had something to say with Cruz Pedregon, which I have yet to see the broadcast. So if that doesn't get played, oh, don't worry, it'll get played. Don't worry. Always, says Chris King. Chris, at some point, let's get you on the show. Let me know when your next races are going to be. Thanks, show. Awesome show, as always, says Facebook user. Jim Essex. Heiner is a VIP. Heiner's always a VIP. I like Michael Heiner. I think everybody likes Michael Heiner. He's pretty much universally liked character. God bless our troops. Absolutely. And the logistics folks. Like, think about those folks, what they're doing right now. If they were under siege in a battle, we would all be thinking about them and shouting out to them and thinking about them. Well, for logistic folks, this is their, I don't want to diminish it by calling it their Super Bowl. to get called in to do a historic airlift. Right? I know people don't want to talk, I don't want to talk about that stuff, but when your nation's military is engaged in a historic operation for whatever the reason, you got to give respect and highlight it, I think. Mark says, John Force can do what he wants, but if he wants to command respect for himself, doing what he's doing won't be conducive to that from the fans or the competitors, says Mark Bergeron. I don't necessarily agree. Matt Hagan is from the school of roll it in shallow and use your reaction time and superior athletic ability to get their race done. John Force and others are from a different school where even when you had the athletic ability and youth on your side, you still got tricky. It's just a generational divide, I think, which I'm interested in watching it. Like Tricky Ricky Smith. Tricky Ricky's been tricky the whole time. He didn't just start doing that since he was older. And Cruz and John. Like, that's stuff that when they were young, they were doing it. It's not trying to get tricky. But then Force, in our interview with him last week, which many of you watched, and those of you who didn't watch, you should watch it or listen to it so you can hear him talk about Tom the Mongoose McEwen teaching him that valuable lesson by lying to him. Don't worry, we're broke. You're going to win the race. We just got to stage the car to get the round money. Force goes out there, does a long burnout celebration of his win that he knows he's going to get. And Goose went out there and beat him. Said, that was a very inexpensive lesson I just taught you. Don't ever trust anybody else. Like, oh my gosh, that's pretty brutal. It's just different perspectives. And I don't, what's my opinion? I say you do what you can do. You do what you got to do. You do what you got to do to survive. And, Hagan's got his perspective and other racers got their perspective, and fans, you guys have your perspective. And isn't that great? That's exactly what we need. That's exactly what we want. Not everyone agrees. And if you're for old age and treachery, you're with Force, you're with Cruz, you're with those guys. Then if you're with the, run it straight, let your reflexes do the talking, maybe you're with the Matt Hagans of the world and others. Let's see what Monica has to say. Great interview. Thanks. Looking forward to Monday's show. Yes, Monday, 1 p.m. We're coming on the air. Also, I think I'm coming on tomorrow. Yeah, with no guest. We're going to play the Steve Torrance interview. It's going to be the Steve Torrance Winterview. I believe 1 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to do it. We're going to light it up Thursday. They're going to play you some videos and a couple of video interviews that I took from the Winner's Circle, and we're going to get your thoughts. Maybe I'll read some of these interesting ideas on how to, we'll test them in real time. Because an idea, is it good? Is it bad? We'll test them in real time, 1 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. And, maybe a guest will pop on there. Like, who knows? Who knows? You're on the soapbox is always a great time. Says you, Monica. I don't know. I didn't get any hate mail for it, honestly. And even when I get on the soapbox, it's from a positive perspective. Like, come on, guys, we can do this, which I think we can. You still didn't negotiate a B2B. No. And I like steak too. So just hasn't happened. Guys, I am not getting out into the pits nearly as much as I once did. It's been awesome and a great challenge, and I'm getting a lot of mic time, and it's fun. But big part of the job is getting out into the pits and seeing everybody. That's the reason one of the only reasons I went out into the zoo on Friday night. I knew I would see, or Saturday night, I knew I would see a lot of racers out there. And I did. Names will not be shared. No doubt. Haha. I'm walking the other way on that one. Right. Would love if Joe could have TJ Zizou on as a guest. He's a great guest and has a good car. He does. And TJ has been on. In fact, 1 year ago, right now, we were setting up for the big Justin Ashley, TJ Zizou, U.S. Nationals final round. And we had Justin and we had TJ on a happy hour show. You can find those in our archive. And there's even a playlist on the YouTube channel. Subscribe on YouTube. I've been telling you to do that. And that's where TJ said maybe the funniest thing that's ever happened on WFO, balloon knot. Balloon knot. Dale says, Michael Heiner, I want to walk back to that tow vehicle, not crawl. Sing the Britney Force song. No, I think that needs to be there. Look, I didn't make this up. There were some kids out there allegedly, that got very excited about seeing Britney, and they superimposed Britney's name into a well-known children's song that once heard can't be unheard. And so I'm waiting to see small children on social media to see if this is going to catch fire before I go with it. I was very surprised. I thought it worked well, but I don't want to push it any further than I already did, because it was something. And maybe, when Britney's on Monday, maybe some kids will record themselves singing the new Britney Force song, and maybe I would play it for them, for Britney, if it was available. But I got to see it on social media, because, it's amazing when these things happen organically. Right? Caps just laughed when Force went in deep on him. Chill out, Matt. I'm not telling anybody how to react, and I'm not telling anyone to react less. That's the last thing we need. Like, they didn't, until Hagan goes and picks somebody up like Darth Vader, I'm okay with it. Sorry, I think Matt needs to suck it up and seek sponsorship from Kleenex. Staging is part of the game. Well, yes, exactly. You have an opinion about what our champion and points leader and most recent race winner, Matt Hagan, just said. You have an opinion. Good job, Matt, for putting out something that isn't whitewashed, vanilla, boring cliches. Straightforward. His version. You can agree, you don't agree, that's your business. Dale says, I guess when the size of your dang mountain, you can speak your mind. Yeah, well, that is also true. The confidence that Matt Hagan has. He must be a very confident person. I like Heiner, just playing. Who doesn't like Michael Heiner? St. Louis and Dallas, unless I can get some sponsorship help, hunting and hustling every day. Well, that is good, Chris. That's 2 races. That's good. And, I think you'll find, as I have found, even with this show, you keep showing up and people will try to help you, and they'll see it. They'll see the passion, and they'll see that you're serious. I've noticed that in Pro Stock, that everybody says, oh man, Pro Stock. But once you start showing up, people are like, oh man, all right, this guy's showing up. We got to help him. We wish you the best. So before St. Louis, let's try to get you on, something like that. I record it in case you forgot. Haha. Oh gosh. Well, that was me. And I was just doing the kids. It will be much more powerful coming from the kids who started this whole thing. Those kids, Steve, the kids, fans of Britney, who want to sing songs about Britney, which is popular in many other sports. In drag racing, we don't really have it. And the name has to work. Thanks, Joe. Nice Frank interview. Yeah. Respect the troops. Absolutely. 100%. Honestly, hold in not just respect. Crewing at the U.S. Nationals on an alcohol car. Which alcohol car, Chris? Which one? And I love that. Joey Haas, too. Just want to be around it. Have the talent to drive. Just want to be around it. Hey, here's our newest Patreon, Troy. All those muscles to protect that fragile ego. John Force does goat things. Well, when you are going to go toe-to-toe with John Force, you're going to have less people behind you. That is just a fact. John Force has been doing it for 30 years and has amassed the largest single fan base in all of drag racing. He has. But you know what? Matt Hagan has fans. He's got his fans, and they love him, and they love what he does, and he's a 3-time champ, and he's got staying power in the sport, and he's been out here a long time. And when a 16-time champ and a 3-time champ get together and have a little bit of a disagreement, and remember, Cruz had words for Hagan, some sort of words too, which I haven't yet seen yet, guys. I got DVR issues. And before I characterize them or comment on them, I really want to see them. But it doesn't matter, because Troy's our newest Patreon. What's up, Troy? If I'm a funny car pilot, I'm going deep on Hagan every time. Well, yeah, the double bulb thing. But is there any doubt that Hagan will adapt? But, maybe you got to make him adapt. Maybe you do. You got to make him adapt. Derek agrees with Jeff. And Jeff agrees with Dragster Jeff. They're doing their own show in there in the WFO comment section. And that's why you got to subscribe to the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud. Check them out. Oh my gosh, here come the comments. I can't get out of here. Not everyone has unlimited funds. So you do what you have to do. We do competition in our culture the way that the Romans did the Colosseum, the way during, medieval times they did, jousting, that kind of stuff, night battle. You think about history and all the different crazy, horrible stuff that happened in history. And we have taken like that, maybe primitive desire to battle, to fight. Back then, bloodlust. Think about what happens in the Colosseum and how it was depicted in movies. Think of Gladiator, think about that. And obviously, some would say, well, we're softer now. And I'm not of that. I think it's actually better to be evolved and a little bit refined and not have that, primitive bloodlust. But we have turned it into competition at all levels. And whether it be football, where there's competition, baseball competition, even in our motorsports, there is that competitive drive to vanquish your opponent, to see, the rules of Crom, to see your enemies driven before you, that stuff, except in competition. Yes, you did get a Crom reference. So choose your side. No one's going to beat each other up. They're going to battle it out on the racetrack. Hopefully the fans can be respectful, much the way New York Yankee fans and Boston Red Sox fans have been so respectful to one another this year, especially now that the Yankees have really just kind of blown right by them, kicked them back. J-Lo, not yet. If it's allowed by the rules, then quit crying about what or who's who. That is an opinion. Maybe an indie happy hour. Well, listen, I'm done on Tuesday. Me and Reinhardt going to be the last show. So maybe on Monday. There's no rule against, a beverage or two on a Monday, midday. Mark Bergeron. I wasn't saying that John was wrong for doing what he did. He can do what he wants within the rules. I'm saying that John Force, I can do what I want, is where I think he went wrong. He seemed to show that he has a lack of respect for other competitors, assuming that the quote from Hagan's perspective is exactly accurate. Because if you listen to the John Force interview from last week or 2 weeks ago, his version of it is a little bit different. And so we'd have to have been there and we'd have to listen to exactly what was said, which I don't think is possible. And so it's a bit of a he said, she said. And of course, everybody sees things from their own perspective. So isn't this great? Chris King, it's been a dream come true ever since Denver. My connections to social media have grown big time. We are improving every lap with very little funding and resources. I'm just happy to be out there crewing for Andy Bowl. Love Andy Bowl. Excellent. Way to go, Chris. And that makes sense. Isn't Andy Bowl also a firefighter? Good job. And yes, Chris, and this is the whole thing that we're talking about over the past couple of days, bringing in more money into the sport, even if it's private people. There's a lot of that going on out there. Let's face it. There's a lot of very successful people out there, and they could go buy a $25 million yacht that they're going to have to spend a crew to just keep it going for the times that they can use it. And it's out there in the Caribbean, kind of just floating around, and the crew is on it. The yachties are coming into Fort Lauderdale, and they're getting wasted on Tuesdays. Or you can fund a top fuel team and be on a team and go out there and win races and be part of something bigger than yourself. I know what I would choose. I would rent the yacht for like a week and leave the hard costs for somebody else. I would support the top fuel team. Like, there are people who have the ability to fund Chris King for 10 races. They can do it. We just got to reach out to the right people. We got to make those connections. We got to get them involved. We got to make them feel comfortable about it. That it's a lot of money. Think of, Terry Chandler, what she did for the sport for a couple of years out of her pocket and then turned that into a positive thing. Like, think of all the charities surrounding firefighters and first responders that could be looped in and the programs that could be created. Someone's got to fund the program. And someone's got to reach out to the people to fund the program. And all of those things can happen. And the crowds are coming back and are going to get bigger and better. The sport coming back, it's going to get bigger and better. And even if it didn't, exactly as it is right now, so much good can come out of it. the way people are creating programs right now. So I wish Chris King good luck. And maybe someone will watch this show and they will say, you know what? We want to see that guy at 5 races and get together with him. And I think it's great. And there's all kinds of levels that you can get involved in the sport. But also, I would hope you would loop WFNO in on that. Just write me a check. 18 races would bring back full fields. Would it? I don't know, Keelan. I don't know. I don't think it would. I've heard a lot of people say a lot of things would bring back full fields. I don't know. But then again, I have the solutions to all the problems in these couple of sheets created by an industry insider that will go nameless. Unless everybody likes the ideas, then I'll tell you who he was. Brenwald is bribing the neighborhood kids to sing for him. Yeah, well, maybe that's exactly what it takes, Brenwald, right? Get a couple of kids out there who are obviously consenting to sing the new Britney Force fan song that has taken the sport by storm and put it out on the social for it to be retweeted, and then we'll play it for Britney. A mix of young kids, girls and guys, with their parents' permission to sing, Baby Shark using Britney's name. The fact that we are still talking about deep staging shows it's good for the sport. Yeah, exactly. All of this. Hey, everybody wanted the controversy? Aren't we like swimming in controversy right now? Don't we have all the controversy that we need right now? And we've got more coming. Cruz is talking smack. Hagan's talking smack. Force is talking smack. Bruno and Mason McGahey won't stage. There's all kinds of stuff going on. All kinds going into the biggest race of the year. Zizzo can't come on because he still uses a flip phone. Remember that? No, he had an iPhone 3. That was embarrassing. Love Zizzo. Thank goodness for guys like you. Oh, here we go. As of this time, we need to be motivated. The whole country can do an excellent job at that. Put a smile on people's face. Thank you. Art, thank you for that. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Right. I have opinions about everything, all kinds of opinions, but it doesn't matter. What matters is that we come together and do the best job we possibly can in our lives and at work and lift people up. There's a lot of people that are down. Lift people up. You don't agree with them? You don't like them? Lift them up anyway. Right? Do something nice for someone you hate. Exactly. Do something nice for someone. Help someone. Do something. Everybody needs a little help. Oh, they need to be tough and pick themselves up from their bootstraps. And then the second you got a problem, they're like, help me. Exactly. That's what we need. Motivate. Get motivated, everybody. Do something good. That New York Yankee game was insane last night. Yeah, 11 in a row, folks. 11 in a row, guys. Yeah, this Yankee team is not the team of the first half of the year. The Yankee fans did some stuff behind the scenes. We can't tell you about it, but it's working. It was a little scary, though, and late in the going. Chapman, he's not always there. Why does always have to come back to the Yankees? Killing me. Listen, you tell your Guardians to get better, and we'll be good. No, that's because greatness, Michael Heiner. You should stop fighting it, and you should, we mock what we do not understand. You should try to go inside the New York Yankee fan mentality and understand how confidence and greatness creates confidence and greatness. This could be the year. This could be number 28 all of a sudden. Snakes had ripped their throats out. A different time, a different era, but absolutely. And you read about Shirley also going out to these match races, and Garlitz would always be mad at Shirley because Shirley would try to win every single round. Yeah, when you're Shirley, you want to go out and win every single round because it's a different experience for Shirley. Shirley was trying to prove something, and she did. Good luck, Chris. Yeah, Chris, put your social feeds up in our comment. Like give, let everybody follow Chris. Let's expand his social. Let's keep it going, man. Chris King, who I've yet to talk to in person, but that's why we do this show. So I can talk to everybody at once. Is Chris King on Facebook? This is a good question. Put your link, Chris. Sorry about messy typing. Oh, man, I never attack anybody about messy typing. More match racing, more money for race teams and tracks. Yeah, well, I would love to see some more match racing, especially being from South Florida, where we don't get nitro rarely. I think match racing would be good, but it's really hard. If that's what you're saying about the 18 race schedule, I get it. But, now that you're cutting 6 off the whole program, is the sponsors going to pay the same amount? Or are they going to cut 6 races out of that? And are we going to shrink? I just don't think cutting is ever good. There's got to be another way. And I got 1,000 opinions, but I can't just throw them all out there. Takes two to have a burn down. Yeah, it does. There are comparing eras without sponsorship to with sponsorship is not a good comparison. Well, right. When winnings was how you did it. When the winnings got the job done. Chris King for sure has Facebook. Like to see him more. Hey, Keith, what's going on? It was great meeting your dad out there. I got to hang out with Keith and his dad out there in Kansas. All right, everybody, that's going to do it. Thanks for hanging on after Matt Hagan. I think we had a good little show here. This was good stuff. I'll be back on tomorrow with Steve Torrance. Steve Torrance in the winner's circle and a couple other videos that I took, assuming I can get them off my phone. And we're going to do that kind of a different way. And we'll continue to solve the world's problems here on WFO Radio. Remember, we have got the WFO store where you can get T-shirts and face coverings. And it's really all powered through PayPal. You can get WFO stickers for free. Castello Media /WFO stickers, P.O. Box 848-353, Pembroke Pines, Florida 33084. If you want to put them on your toolbox or your car or whatever, you can definitely do that. Shout out to Nitro Fish. Speaking of Keelan and Tamara in the Nitro Fish trailer, well, hopefully you'll go get a WFO Radio 10th anniversary T-shirt. I got to get a couple of T-shirts, guys, from the trailer. I got some people that have asked for T-shirts. Ladies, they want WFO T-shirts. I got to do a swap, which I like it. I like that whole idea. And our Patreons. You know, this is a group of people that they spend money monthly to get Monday Motivation and watch the Ignition Show and be part of our advisory board. And maybe you get some gear. So if you want to join the Patreon VIP Listener Club, go to patreon.com/WFO Radio. And a big shout out to Team Mopar, Dickie Venables. Dickie was really cool. He was looking for JC afterwards. Where's JC? Where's JC? The camaraderie. It's awesome. And obviously they were teammates. The big go next week. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, remember, this is the year. This is the one you got to go to. This is the one that you got to throw caution to the wind. And you got, well, I don't want to say it that way. I rock. Dad enjoyed it as well. Good show as always. Steve-O, oh God, it's going to be good. You're going to love it. Team Force rules. Later, Keelan. Good guys and heels. Exactly. You need good guys and bad guys, or everybody's a good guy. It's just whichever side you're on, right? Everybody's your good guy. See ya tomorrow, 1 o'clock, WFO.